Alright, bro. What's good? Welcome back to the side channel. Be Too Nice TV, of course. Uh Today I got something pretty, I would say controversial. If I feel like I feel like I'm not controversial when it comes to my takes, but some people may think so. But today we gonna rank every single Beyblade season of all time. At least the mainline series, if there's any side series, which I do know exist and I have watched. I don't think those are part of the list because those are like, you know, different. Maybe I could add them. I don't know. But let's rank every single season possible. I know ball. We have every season from the original Bakuten Shoot Beyblade, and we have Metal. We have the Metal series, and we have Burst. And I also included X because why not? Oh, I might as well make this tier. Wait, let me add another tier real quick. Okay, so let's go. First season, I would say it's pretty good for a first season of Beyblade. From what I remember, because I watched this in like 2024 sometime, like early 2024. I was watching all the three first seasons, right? This one was pretty good. The only thing I don't like about it is the animation. Like it's like I said, I'm 90. I was born in 05. I didn't grow up with that like early era TV, like I said. So it could be a me thing, but the animation in the original, it's just I don't really like it that much. Like it's charming because it's old, it's charming, but that's my only gripe about it. Besides that, it's a really good season. Tyson, you have Kai, you have the entire Blade Breakers first meeting up. You have that little arc when they were in China with like Ray and his old team. You have like the Bit Beast and stuff. You have Black Dronzer. Season 1 is really good. It's solid. Off the bat, I think I'm gonna put season 1 like a solid A tier, in my opinion. In terms of the season, I don't really have much nostalgia with it, but it's A tier off of a non-biased opinion. I think that makes sense. On to the next, we have Beyblade V-Force. This one's, I'm gonna be honest, it's just okay. I feel like the bendy thing is that it like drags on. I like that little arc with like those shadow bladers or whatever they were in the beginning. I'll show them. Like, I don't think they were called that. It's been a minute since I've seen this shit, but like they had those like invisible bit beasts, which are bit beasts are like the avatar or like the animal spirit of the Beyblade. You know what I'm saying? So you have those guys. They were kind of cool. Tyson, there was like I would say, and then like this season, like they changed. The animation looks way better. I'll say that. In my opinion, they perfected it in the second season because here they look like when you look at Kai, the way Kai sounds, it doesn't sound like how he looks. Like his like he sounds like his deeper voice. He sounds like he's like the oldest of the group, but he's not like they made them all kind of look pretty like chibi like kids. I don't hate it, but I think the next season perfected their designs. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the final arc with that one kid named Zio, you know what I'm saying? And like he has the burning Cerberus Bay. I overall think this season kind of did drag on for a bit. Like I feel like it starts off a little slow and then like eventually towards the end it starts to spruce up. Like I feel like for me the season kind of drags just a little bit. It's not bad, but out of the entire trilogy of these original Beyblade, it is my least favorite. So I'll have to put it. Ooh, and I might move stuff around later on. But for now, I think I'm going to put it in C tier. I might move it up. That could be bad. I might move it up. Like, it's a high C tier or a low B tier. So, yeah. Next season. And we're putting that right there already. An explanation. Do we really need to do it? Yes, we do. G Revolution is the best. It is probably the best Beyblade like if I didn't grow up with Metal series, G Revolution would be the best by far. But G Revolution, bro, it literally has Dragon Ball. Like, do you remember when Kai took off his scarf and it fell to the floor? That's literally like Dragon Ball. Kai and then Tyson versus Ray, they were charging, they were like charging and shit. And like, oh, the Beyblade, like the Dragoon, like the engine gear system, you know what I'm saying? You have Daichi, which is cool little rival. He also has Dragoon. You have not Kai, Tyson's older brother, Hero, or Jin of the Gale. That arc was pretty cool. I wish that lasted longer. I really wish that like the Jin of the Gale, like I wish he was kind of like Shu, which he kind of was, kind of like Shu in Beyblade Burst, which we'll get to later, where he like, but I wish his reveal was like way later in the season. That would have been crazier. But yeah, you have the entire season. The animation is peak, bro. Like the way the characters look, they take what V-Force did, but they kind of made it look more like, you know, like natural. Like they look their age here. So the animation peaked here, the battles peaked here. Like every blader now has kind of a special attack, which is a precursor to the special move. So now like battles are more like natural now. Like before, it's just like a battle, you know, you would be battling and it's like sometimes they would unleash a move. Like it like before, it was more so like it wasn't as uniform as it is now, I would say. And then like the powers, like the main villain Brooklyn gives me like Damien vibes from Metal almost, but like he's way crazier. Like the title match versus Kai versus Tyson is still my favorite match of this entire like original series. But bro, this season, please go watch it. I personally think you should, but you have to drag through. The first season's good, but you have to drag through V-Force, because I feel like don't watch, like, you gotta watch it all together. But G Revolution is S tier. It's a GOAT season by far. That will never change. All right. Next season, Beyblade Metal Fusion. Here's where my childhood started. Oh yeah, and all the years this came out. This is 1999. I'm pretty sure. The original. V-Force I think is 2002, and then this is 2003. So yeah, it's pretty old. We have Metal Fusion, which came out in 2009 in Japan, and then 2010 here in North America. You know, 2010. Yeah, this is my childhood. This is where it all started for me, in terms of, you know, this series, right? My favorite series of all time, Beyblade, right? Metal Fusion is really near and dear to my heart. You know, my first Beyblades were Storm Pegasus and Flame Libra in those original Metal Fusion boxes from all the way back in the day on my 6th birthday. Yeah. I remember the first episode of Fusion I watched was the Kiyoya and Tobio episode, like the Capricorn versus Leon, that episode. Yeah. Fusion means a lot to me. It always will. But as a season, nostalgia aside, I will have to put it in to keep S tier, you know, GOAT tier from being flooded. Metal Fusion, in terms of the rest of the Metal series, excuse me, I gotta be fair. I'm putting it at high A tier. You know, high A tier, if not S tier, but it's high A tier, because I feel like this is a contribution to where it's like, if it was just Fusion alone, it would be S tier. But there is, in my opinion, the later ones do make it way better. This is still the original. The start of my Beyblade journey was right in this season, so it will always have that place in my heart. Ryuga, the Dark Power, Jinga's character arc here, it was peak everything. It was grounded, because this is when the Bladers weren't going overseas and stuff yet. They were just in Japan, in Metal Bay City. It was great. The Beyblade designs are peak. Like it was great. It's just such a good season. It's always rewatchable. It's very rewatchable. It's just great. I love it. Doji, peak villain. Yeah. Not really much to be said. High A tier, probably the top of A tier, or low S tier. You know what I'm saying? Next season, Metal Masters. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, this one has another nostalgia too. This is probably like the most nostalgic one besides Fury and Shogun, because there was like on YouTube, right? I was like 7 years old on YouTube. Somebody like uploaded like the 12 episodes, the first, like not first 12, but the first, like, I would say the first Metal Masters episode up until they beat Wang Hu Zhang, that episode. I would rewatch those episodes back to back to back to back so many times. Those are the most nostalgic Beyblade episodes probably of all time for me, which is why like that boosts Metal Masters up so much for me. And even so, the rest of the season is good too. You know what I'm saying? The World Championship, Spiral Force, it's great. Julian, Damien, it's great. I love Fusion. Like, Masters has peak designs in Beyblades as well. It's great. I'ma have to put it in GOAT right now. I mean, did you expect anything less? It's Metal Series. It's GOAT. For me, it will always be above Revolution. Even though Revolution might be better for some of y'all, it's always gonna be better for me. Metal Fury, and we're just gonna put that there. See, these you can swap them out for me. Like, I think they're like on equal levels of each other, Fury and Masters. But for the sake of this, Fury is, if you don't know, is a bit incomplete. I mean, there's only like, I think 39 episodes. It's missing a few episodes. Like, I wish they finished it. I wish they you put more episodes, because a lot of the characters in this season does feel a tiny bit rushed. I would say like the later legendary bladers like Chris, Tiffy. This season, like I said, I'll always say Fury, it was just so peak, man. You have, not only did they, like, even for Fusion, the animation of Fusion was pretty good, but you could see they upgraded as the seasons go. Fury looks beautiful. Like, the legendary blader aspect, like the lore, like, they're basically like the ancient heroes of, like, they're basically the Avengers of Beyblade, which the legendary bladers are. They basically are the Avengers of the Beyblade universe. I think all the legendary bladers, I own every legendary blade except Anubius, but I will get that eventually. I think like, after coming off of a whole tournament season with Masters, coming here to where it's not just, even though the tournaments in this season were so much fun. Destroyer Dome, Toriumon, Baster Island, and all those tournaments, man, Fury is such a fun watch. But even so, it does at times feel a tiny bit rushed with some of the characters, especially in the later half of the season. I have no problem with the finale, and I have no problem with once we get to the Hades City or whatever, the Nemesis, not Hades City. Once we get to, like the Nemesis area, I still love it to death, but I can tell that they could have done just a tiny bit more. For that, it will always be GOAT for me, because let alone in real life, Fury and Shogun Steel was when I was into the Beyblade toys and products the most. I was playing with it at school with my friends. I was doing it during the Fusion and Masters era, but like Fury and Shogun Steel, like 2012, 2013, that was when it was like prime for me, at least. Cosmic Pegasus, all the products. I had the spark effects. You remember those spark effects, those like the Beyblades with the holographic lights, all those, like the Hyper Blades. If you are my age, you know what I'm talking about. Like, all these Beyblades, I had a lot of them, man. I even went to a Beyblade themed birthday party in 3rd grade during this era, 2013, like Fury and Shogun Steel. So Fury and Shogun Steel will always, I literally remember watching Fury. There's 2 episodes I remember watching on Cartoon Network, from Fury. I watched all of it as a kid, but like, as a kid, you don't really remember watching them. You watch them, but there's some episodes that you don't remember watching, but you did watch. You know what I mean? I remember watching the episode of Destroyer Dome on Cartoon Network where like Tsubasa and Zio and Toby, Masamune's friends, and they fought the Garcias. That episode, I watched that on Cartoon Network because I recorded it. I was like 7. Then the other episode was when Jingo was fighting Ryuga on the volcano when they first meet up with him. That episode too. Yeah. Fury's peak. In terms of which is better, Fury or Masters, I have so much nostalgia for both. It's really either or for me here, if I'm being honest. But I don't know. I'm going to keep it like this, but I'm going to be honest. It's Fury and Masters. It's like neck and neck. I don't think I can really choose between them. Shogun Steel. Now, I know a lot of people hate this season, but I'm not one of them. I can't, but even so, I know it would be a hate crime to put it in anywhere above B. For me, every single metal series is in GOAT tier, S tier. But to be fair to the masses, I will put Shogun Steel in high B tier or low A tier. I'm gonna put it in high B tier though, right? So Shogun Steel, you have this takes place in also, yeah, Shogun Steel. So we have oh yeah, Fury came out 2011 in Japan and 2012 in North America. And then Shogun Steel came out 2012 in Japan and 2013 in North America, right? So, yep. And Also Masters was 2010 in Japan, 2011 here. You know, it's simple. But Shogun Steel, you have Zero, you have this is 7 years after Fury, the events of Fury, 7 years after. So the world has kind of come back to normal. You have these new Synchrome system base, which I have them over there. You know, you can basically forge double metal and combine other bays. So you can combine Ifrit, which is the main character's bay, and let's say Salamander, which is Shinobu's bay right there. You can combine them to make Salamander Ifrit, and it makes a whole new bay. You could do that with a lot of the bays in the seasons. In this season, I'll be honest, they didn't go as far as they could with it, but what they did with it, I'm pretty satisfied, because they made some good combinations with bays. The special moves were crazy. The animation looks even better than Fury. Like, they upgraded the animation with every series, but even with Shogun Steel, you could see this was the beginning of the end for the metal series, especially in Japan, that the sales were going down. Here, I think it was still selling, but obviously, you know, you have, bro, this season, even though it seems pretty short, like, you know, I do like that there's like this new generation of bladers that are, you know, the original Metal Fight characters. They're all grown up now. They're in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be blading and going around blading. That's why I feel like it's a terrible argument when people say like, oh, like, oh, where's Jenga? Well, Jenga's here, but like, where's Kiyoya? Like, where's all them people? Like, why we don't want to see these new kids? Y'all gotta understand is that this is years after Fury. They're adults now. Now, I know in the manga, you see Ryuga still. I feel like, and like Kenta, he kind of like he's like a mentor to like, what's his name? Sakyo and stuff in the manga and stuff like that. I would have been fine if these niggas have like cameos or little episodes specific to them and stuff, like training new bladers and stuff. The only person, like, besides, if Ryuga didn't die, then Ryuga and Jingo will probably still be blading. But besides them, these guys are grown up. They're not going to be going around like when they were younger, bro. So I feel like that's a terrible argument. Yes, Shogun Steel could have been way better than what it was, but IRL, I remember seeing the Shogun Steel base for the first time at Toys R Us in like 2013, and I'm like, I thought they were weird Japanese base, bro. Yeah, I remember getting the battle set, the Shogun Steel battle set for Christmas that year in 2013. Shogun Steel, I have so much nostalgia for it. I used to watch those little YouTube short clips on the Beyblade YouTube channel, like those Shogun Steel clips, bro. Shogun Steel will always have my heart, bro. It will. But I can't even be super biased, so I'm going to put it at high B tier right now. But, yeah. Next season. Burst. Now we're on to Burst. Burst Season 1. Ooh. Yeah, there is the other seasons. Burst Season 1. I'm going to say low A tier for now, but I might move it around later. Burst Season 1 was crazy. Like I said, I was there in late 2016 when Burst dropped here in North America. Me and my friends were getting some of the bays when they came out. Valtryek, Rockdivore, you know, yeah. It's crazy. I like Burst Season 1 a lot. I remember watching it when I was still 11 when it came out. And like the entire season, I remember being heartbroken when Vault lost at the end. You know, it's a good season. Especially since Beyblade Burst Season 1 was when I was into Beyblade Burst. Probably the most, besides the second season. Season 3 and the other ones, I didn't come back until I was older, until like 2020. Like, I kind of fell off of Beyblade Burst because of like Fortnite stuff started to go crazy, so. It was really the first and second season that I was still into when like Beyblade Burst was in its prime. I didn't come back to Burst until like way later, but this first season, I'm gonna say for now, actually, I might move it down. It might be a high B tier. You know, it might be a high B tier. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a GOAT season. Shu, Vault, his whole arc and thing. Like, Louis be first coming in, you know what I'm saying? The Bay designs were peak here. I feel like with Burst, like, as the seasons went, after season, like, this first season, they really, like, the choreography and, like, the way the bays move, it's way different like as later seasons, it started to get less complex. You know what I'm saying? Just a bit. Like they were still good, just less complex. You know. Next season, Evolution. This right here. In regards to the other season, let me look. I think this is gonna go high A tier. Yeah, I think that's a good place. Evolution was peak. Evolution was peak. You have Vault starting off, he gets a new bay, so now he has to relearn how to use Valtryek all over again. It's like he starts over. You have Red Eye, of course. It's peak Beyblade. It really is. The entire season is just like, it's literally like Metal Masters, but a whole tournament arc, but in burst. You know, it's crazy. You have Free, you have Louis defeating Free. That shit was crazy. You have Free getting back, Free getting with the veins. The final battle was crazy. It's such a good season. This was IRL, the products. I remember seeing them at Toys R Us, the Evolution base. Evolution is peak. I would say it's peak, but I don't know if I can really put it in S tier because of the season right after it. Let's just get to it. You know? Yeah, and peak. Right here. Turbo. I'll be fair. A lot of us weren't really that keen on Iger. Iger kind of has his idiotic and annoying moments, I would say. But overall, bro, like, it's hard to hate the nigga. He fucks up a lot, and like, it shows that he needs to grow as a person. You have Phi, the Lord of Destruction. That battle is probably like, that is top 3 Beyblade battles of all time. Phi versus Iger. Vault's still here, but he's still a reigning world champion until Iger has the dark Iger arc with Tsubasa, kind of like I didn't mention it earlier, just like how Tsubasa has that dark thing. I would say Iger's is crazy though. Yeah. Burst Turbo is the GOAT. It's one of the GOATs. That's enough said. Next season we have Beyblade Burst Rise. Ooh. I'm gonna say, ooh. I would say Rise is actually also, it's been a minute since I watched Rise. Rise, Beyblade Burst. I know, I remember that shit. I think Rise is B tier. Better than the first season. Yeah. Rise was good. I think Rise is just like a calm, it's the middle tier of Beyblade. I would say Rise is really great. You know, you have Dante, you know. I didn't like that they were kind of replaced Free with Fumiya and like Loden with Louis. They didn't need to replace them niggas. Shu isn't here. Like, Rise kind of removed a lot of like the old, like, you don't see many like returning people here except for like Vault and Iger, obviously. But I think Dante's cool. He's a whole different take. He's way more hot-headed, but like not in an aggressive way. He has much more energy than Vault and Iger ever did. You know, he's a different main character. He's the first main character with like, but since Tyson with a dragon type Beyblade. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, Ace Dragon's cool. I think like the villain Gwyn and like Arthur, they were cool. I think it's better than season 1, but only by a bit. You know what I'm saying? Next season, the IRL products for Hasbro started to go downhill here as well. So there's no point in talking about them. Surge. I think Surge is A tier. Below all of these, but it's A tier. Surge is good. It could have been way better though, but Surge is good. Because I think that actually, yeah, I think that's a good place for Surge. Had everybody returning, you know, well, all the fan favorites returning from previous seasons. And basically, this was kind of a season where it was basically all the strongest bladers just have a whole tournament this entire season. You have Lane, which is basically the equivalent, the Beyblade equivalent of Randy Orton. because he's basically the legend killer going around defeating all the legends. You have Hyuga and Izashi, these new main characters, these new bladers with Helios and Hyperion. They're pretty cool. I feel like this season was just fan service, if anything, and I like that. I'm gonna say it's A tier. You know, I had King Helios a long time ago, but yeah. Beyblade Burst DB. I'm sorry. I didn't like the season at all, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, there's the redeeming parts. I like. There's like Louis. He gets the guilty longiness. I didn't really like Bell that much. The season's okay. I think Rashad is just like. I didn't like the fact that he was just copying Vault with his Beyblade. I didn't like that. Once he got Raphael, he was kind of better. But like, I feel like this season was just like. This was the beginning of the end of Burst, and don't even talk about the products in real life. Let's move on. QuadStrike, I never watched. I will watch it someday, but I heard it's better than Quad Drive, so at least it got my hopes up. I just don't really like, because Takara told me, you know, the Japanese, they didn't make this season. Hasbro, because you know they have the Burst, the BU line, which were after the DB, they made more bays, but they didn't release an anime with it. And you know, Hasbro can't release Beyblades without an anime. Well, I guess not. They actually could, but I guess they didn't want to release these newer Burst bays without an anime. And plus, I don't see the point in releasing it with an anime with these shitty Beyblades. I'm sorry. Like, look at the designs of the QuadStrike bays. You're basically paying for like plastic. Which, yes, Burst bays are plastic, but detailed plastic. Here, you're just paying for just, like, cheap plastic here, man. I'm sorry. Never watched, but maybe it's a good season. I might return to it. I might come to it one day, but Beyblade X Season 1, solid A tier, actually. Solid A tier. You know? It was a good season. Actually, let me move. For right now, I think it's actually might be B tier. But it, like, since Beyblade X is ongoing, it's going to get better. So for season 1 right now, I'm gonna put B tier. But Robin, they need to give him some wins, man. They're doing him dirty. You know, Common X and the girl, what's her name, Multi, they're cooking. Like, I don't like that Robin is kind of just the weak link of the team. Hopefully, I haven't seen the second season. I've only watched the first season of like X. But if Robin starts to spruce up in the next seasons, X will be tough. But yeah, man, that's the tier list so far of all the seasons. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is pretty accurate. You know, you got the GOATs right here. I feel like this is accurate. A tier is pretty stacked. B tier is pretty stacked. And there's only really one C tier. And then never watched. And yeah, we don't talk about this. But hey, that's a tier list, bruh. Let me know if y'all want to see any other tier lists, bruh. Because shit, I could rate more stuff. But yeah, this is the ultimate tier list so far at my current point. I feel like I did well. But yeah, tight shit. But hey, bro, we out though. Beyblade will always be tough though. It will. Yeah. Alright. Till the next time.